Well, sea surface temperatures have a big impact on weather patterns around the globe, and there's a change that we are starting to notice, and researchers from NOAA indicating it is likely we are about to go towards an El Nino setting up in the Pacific, and I want to talk about what this means. Now, typically, we have trade winds that blow warm water out across the central and western part of the Pacific. This is along the equator. Every so often, those trade winds that push that warmer water west, they weaken, and that allows for the warmer water to get closer to the South American coastline. And specifically, we talk about a big warming of the waters off the coast of Peru. Well, when this occurs, we say there's an El Nino that is developed, and this El Nino weather pattern has some impacts on our weather here in the United States and really all around the world. The weather patterns are affected. But as far as our impacts here in the mid-Atlantic, you can see a little uptick, slightly wetter than normal down across coastal sections of North Carolina, right up to about southeast Virginia, close to Hampton Roads. We're kind of on the edge, but certainly as you go farther south along the U.S. coastline, your chances for a wetter than normal weather pattern, that occurs when you have these El Ninos, and it's going to be wet down across Florida, typically wetter across Texas. You can have some flooding problems in Southern California and Texas when you get these El Ninos. You have warmer weather across the northwest U.S. here, neither really warmer or colder. We're kind of left pretty much close to average. There's no real clear indication of warmer or colder here in the mid-Atlantic, but certainly we could be a little bit wetter. That's the general weather pattern during these El Ninos, but I want to talk to you about another impact that we see, and that is when we get an El Nino, we tend to get stronger winds blowing across these prime breeding grounds for hurricanes. So the tropical Atlantic development is typically suppressed a little bit. You get these winds, again, a little bit stronger than normal, blowing across the Caribbean, blowing across these parts of the Atlantic in the tropics, and a lot of what tries to develop runs into trouble. So we get fewer tropical systems because these winds that are blowing a little bit stronger, they create more wind shear, and that as soon as a system tries to get its act together, tries to develop, with that wind shear, they tend to blow apart. So we get fewer storms, and some of the storms that do develop may be a little more likely to recurve or turn back off to the north before impacting the United States. So what this generally means for moderate to strong El Ninos, compared to average, we have 6 fewer named storms, 4 fewer hurricanes, and 2 fewer major hurricanes. So when we talk about El Nino, and it looks like we are headed to a stronger El Nino coming up later this summer and into the winter, while it can create some problems weather-wise for other parts of the country, at least in terms of the tropical potential during our hurricane season, we may catch a little break.